All right, there we go. Good morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order, the Port Council for February 6, 2024. Before we begin, I'd like to inform everyone that Sean Driscoll, the authority's communication director, is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. Is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself. If you are joining virtually, please press the raise your hand icon on the Zoom dashboard, or if you are joining by phone, by pressing 9 on your keypad, and when you are recognized, please state your name for the record. Pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the...
Let me get the recording people first. One second.
Okay.
Sam Houghton.
Well, welcome, Sam.
Thanks.
Anyone else, Sean?
Yeah, one more. Amy.
Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
You're recording, Amy. Just wanted to verify.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can I proceed, Sean?
Yes.
Okay. Pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 as amended, Port Council members are participating remotely in today's meeting because their physical attendances today would be unreasonably difficult. All Port Council members in attendance and all members participating in the meeting by Zoom video conference app, which will be clearly audible to each other. As a result of members' remote participation in this meeting, any and all votes taken by the members today shall be by roll call. So we'll just do a roll call for who's here. So John Cahill.
Cahill here.
Joe Slito.
Here.
Mark Reese.
Reese here.
And Nat Lowell here. Thank you. The minutes of January 16th. Does anyone have any questions, omissions, additions, etc.? Otherwise, I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? John Cahill.
Cahill, aye.
Joe Slito.
Aye.
Mark Reese.
Reese, aye.
And the chair votes aye. Management report. Bob, status of general internet openings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, and I'll just mention, so I'm actually in Falmouth at the admin building, and here with me is Mark Higgins, Mark Rosum, Stephen Coleman, and Terrence Keneally. Sean, I don't know whether the staff members that are at the Hyannis terminal.
Sure. I'm at the Hyannis terminal with Janice Kennefick and Allison Fletcher.
Okay. All right, so good morning again. So following the investigation into the technical challenge that we experienced back on Thursday, January 18th, during the Head Start summer reservation opening for the residents of Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket, a new opening date and time has finally been rescheduled. And those dates and times are Thursday, February 8th at 8 a.m. for the Nantucket route, and Wednesday, February 14th at 8 a.m. for the Vineyard route. A review was conducted by the authority's IT team, along with the assistance of multiple external vendors. The errors that occurred during the Head Start opening were traced to an underperformance of a cloud-based web server, as well as an unexpected communications failure of on-premise web service. Following reconfiguration changes to these servers and other server modifications, the system performance was shown to be stable following a few days of testing. The authority will continue to monitor and actively manage the number of users allowed on the website to ensure that the website is operating at an optimum level. This will be done through the use of a virtual waiting room on both of the opening days that allows the customers to see their place in line in the approximate wait time until they make a transaction, thus eliminating the need for the customers to continually refresh their browser. So, the wait room, in fact, is, a feature that we're going to be using. And it's not indicating that there's a system issue. It's just that it's enabled to manage the number of users that are going onto the site. So, and again, we apologize to to everyone for the delay that this has taken, but we want to make sure that we had done adequate testing to make sure that we've identified as much as we can that can be fixed on a relatively short time frame. So with that, if anyone has any questions, Stephen or I would be happy to.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
yeah, just a question. I've been Port Council now for almost 3 years, and this is the third year that we've had this problem. It's almost like Groundhog Day. Every year it seems to be the same problem. Is there any way that we could shelve the website for this time period and work on the reservation system? That's the most important thing that we have. We may have a fancy website, but if we can't make reservations, what's the use of a fancy website?
Okay, so in terms of what occurred back on the 18th, it was all related to the website. It wasn't the reservation system. There's two separate systems, and the goal here is we're concentrating all this time right now on getting to a point where we can do the general opening, and then we'll be resuming our efforts to try to wrap up the new website, which from discussions with the programmers for that, they feel that a number of the issues that we've experienced these last couple of years, as you so eloquently pointed out, will hopefully go away.
As I say, I'm computer ignorant. I depend on my Port Council representative from Vineyard Haven to help me out on that, because he's pretty knowledgeable with the computer systems.
Yeah. So it is something that the staff all feels we've let our customers down by having these problems, and we're working to try to resolve them. And at this point, it looks once we get past this opening, we'll be concentrating on the new website that hopefully should resolve these issues.
Thank you, Bob.
Anyone else? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it's good to see you as chair for a change. I just wanted to say that I have some confidence in Stephen Coleman, and I just hope that the management of Steamship Authority continues to hire additional people in the IT department to strengthen the offering as we move into 2024.
And
Thank you.
I think that was clearly, one of the points from Gibbous is that an investment has to be made on our IT side to bring us up to more acceptable standards.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Bob. Any other questions? We'll move on to the next item. The updates on the MV Aquinnah and the Barnstable.
So I think Mark,
is he on?
Yeah, he's here. So Sean will bring him over.
Great. Welcome, Mark.
Good
Mark
morning,
A.
everyone.
Morning, Mark.
Okay, so welcome. A little bit warmer down here in Alabama now, probably mid-60s today. We'll get right into it. A lot of progress is going on both the Aquinnah and the Barnstable. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, we're at the process now of these are the sponsons which extends the beam on the port and starboard sides of the vessel. This is them in the shop. Next slide. As you can see, the sponsons, that picture right there is the Aquinnah. On the starboard side, that's installed the first piece from the forward section to about a midship. And on the Barnstable, you can see down this on the port side, that's from the most forward point to probably a little bit less than midship, but as of right now, most of the sponsons have been installed. Next slide, please. So you can see the under fabrication here, and this is kind of a side view of, you can see the rub rail and the underdeck stiffeners. Next slide. This is a photograph. We took all the propeller blades, these are CP blades, and we sent them to Paget Swan and Tampa to be machined. We took a skim cut on those just while we had everything off. We wanted to get everything back. So with the new O-rings for the environmental approved lubrication, everything is new. Next slide. And you can see the finish of the palm after the machining. Next slide. So from the financial snapshot, where the contract value is 13.7 million, we have approximately 403K in change orders. So combined, we're on project, and combined 28.2 million for both the projects. Any questions on the Aquinnah and Barnstable?
Anyone have anything?
Nope.
Looks good, Mark. Really appreciate everything. And we got a couple.
Yeah, we're at the point now. We've got the stern section is in the process of completion, and so where there were months which appeared there was little movement. Now's the time we're in assembly mode, and just one other thing, the weld seam has been approved by U.S. Coast Guard of the aft and stern section, now all rewelded. Okay, next project.
Island Home, Mark, excuse me.
1 second.
Okay, the Island Home is at Thames Shipyard in New London, Connecticut. It's kind of hard. We've got the bottom initial coatings on, as well as the finishing up on the side shell. Next slide. Just some photographs. We've got both of the shafting. We've sent down of the both ends, sent down to Steinling and Sons down in New Jersey for some machine work, and they are due back yesterday and for reinstallation. Here's a photograph of, we've taken all the grouting and down, this is preventive maintenance on the decking on the O1 deck, the new flooring. Next. Just putting in some soft patches here for, we're able to get machinery in and out of the freight deck easy. Next slide. These are pictures of spending a lot of time on the lift decks this winter. We've replaced these two cylinders in maintenance with new, put in new seals for the pistons on these hydraulic rams. Next slide. So the highlights of the Island Home dry docking: hull coatings, bow thruster overhauls, main propulsion shaft repairs and bearing replacements, and we finished up putting a new ultraviolet water purifier system in for our drinking water on board. Next slide. So where we are right now is we're right on where we need to be, 1.59 million. We've got about 22,000 in total change orders and credits, and we're right now 1.57 million. And that's it to the Island Home. Any questions?
Mark, when's that going to be back on service?
I don't have the repair schedule. She's on service. I don't know if Mark Higgins has that right in front of him. I don't have the schedule.
I believe it doesn't return to the schedule until March 26th, I believe is the date, the end of March.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're on time on our delivery from Thames with it.
Thank you, Mark. Again,
Yeah.
Thank you.
The INO, please.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 second. 5:15.
Okay, we have the INO is in dry dock. Well, she's on the hard and at Fairhaven Shipyard. We've taken down the underwater coatings area and getting ready for recoating, and that's a bow view. Next slide. We've done as we do with our steel boats, although this is aluminum, we take our ultrasonic readings to see if there's any electrolysis. Everything is looking real good. Next slide. Got the windows out, doing some restoration, coating restoration on it, on the upper deck areas. Next slide. We have some planned jet maintenance for this winter. And that's a picture with the jets removed. Next slide. So the highlights of the docking, hull coatings, window and door repairs, propulsion jet maintenance. So we do have a generator overhaul, which isn't listed here. We're doing. And so where we are right now, our contract value is $1,016,880. Right now we're on target at $993,780. We do have some change orders coming in, but project is in proper financial shape. Okay, so that takes
Mark, can I just ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Thank you so much for all this. So the INO doesn't need two swaps till next year, right?
Correct.
That's awesome. And we have, so just a sort of a little question, sort of an overall question with the INO. Having two engines completely done, full blocks, how much time do you estimate? You were here when we did the last ones, I think, the last time we did some swaps. So how long will it take us now? Roughly, I'm not asking you for, day to day. I mean, like roughly to do the swaps by having both engines on site to swap. We've never done this that way. So I'm just curious, time-wise, how much this helps us.
This helps us. Having that second engine that we purchased 2 years ago is a great benefit to the authority. As you know, just next year is a non-dry dock year. So as soon as we get it off the run in January of 2025, we'll start getting the dog houses off and removed. I bet probably somewhere between 3 weeks we save in the anticipation of having this done in this manner, having the two swing engines ready to go. So we're in real good shape of doing the engine swaps. I can't tell you enough how happy I am having that other engine that we can just swap them out in a set. So yep. I'm very, very thankful that the authority allowed us to purchase that other engine.
Yeah. And, I like to sort of plug in really good news that never gets any print. So that was the reason I asked that question partially. And the other part is just what you said. I like to know how much faster that can be, in any future changes with scheduling, knowing these things is important. Well, thank you very much on that. The Vineyard Haven Terminal. Does anyone else have any questions? Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just wondering, given that I live in Fairhaven, whether it be arranged that I could have a tour of the dry dock and just kind of see firsthand how the work is coming along. So somebody could schedule that for me. That'd be great.
We'll arrange something for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just like that, Fairhaven Shipyard is a great place to get this. We're very lucky to have that so close for the INO, and appreciate their work there.
And that lift, they lift it up and drive it across the road there. I saw that once. That's amazing.
It is.
So anyway, thank you. And anyone else have anything? Otherwise, we'll go to the Vineyard Haven Terminal HVAC replacement.
Sean, we have the slides?
Mm-hmm.
Next slide. So you can see from this photo, we had a pretty extensive project over there. This is some of the exposed ductwork for the replacement. Next slide. These are your train units. Those are in the utilities room. Next slide. Here's some of the prep work to replaster the lobby. Next slide. And the condensing units installed in the shelter. Next slide. And the HVAC units ready for commissioning. Next slide. And the lobby ceiling, which is, well, completed, but I'd say 98% complete. We're doing a few touch-ups over there. So overall, the project is about 95% complete. We have a few touch-ups, a couple of grills to install, a rain cap to replace on the exhaust stack with the generator. And that's about it to wrap this project up. Any questions?
Good. Train's good equipment.
As a reminder, that was a $1,178,000 project.
What did they do? I see they had baseboard over there, Mark. What did they disconnect that, hook up air handlers with like a hybrid system? You got 8 heat pumps, AC unit combis, and a boiler with air handlers.
That's about what it is, yes, sir.
It's a good way to go. You know, because you get a little of everything. So, go ahead, John.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to point out that the second John Cahill that's now on the screen is actually the town administrator from Tisbury or Vineyard Haven. I guess I forwarded him the email.
Yeah,
That's what
I don't
happened.
know how I
I
did
knew it
that.
wasn't
Sorry.
you. I knew it wasn't you, John. We kind of figured that out.
Well, we welcome him, obviously, but I don't know how you want to proceed with that, Sean.
Can I forward him the link to join as a attendee?
Sounds,
Okay, why don't you, if you can sign off of that, and I will shoot you an email, Jay. I'm glad. I thought I was the only one who could see that, so thanks for confirming I wasn't losing my mind.
And Mr. Chair, if I can suggest that we wait till
Yeah.
Mr. Andy is back on.
Yes, because the next policy is something to do with you, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
John, if you could just let us know when he's back on.
Sure, just give me 1 second here. All right, I just sent him the link, but the next one is actually the revised charitable giving policy. So if you want to do that, and then I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay. Gotcha.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Bob. Whoever's got this.
Okay, well, I'll start and then John can update. So these policies, back in 2014, the board, the staff had presented to the board written guidelines regarding our policies and practices regarding charitable donations and sponsorships and the like. So Sean, I don't know whether you want to take it from here or you want me to continue. It's up to you.
Sure, I can do it. So yeah, back in 2014, the board approved these policies to establish written guidelines in connection with our practices of donating ferry tickets for charitable causes, sponsoring certain community events by providing in-kind services, and then giving complimentary passenger tickets to our marketing and business partners in exchange for displaying our brochures and participating in our ticket sales program. So following the reorganization of my department, I was looking at the policies that we work with, and I'm asking that these be updated to reflect our current structure and just to update some of the policies in line with current practice, and also requests that I've seen from charitable donations, specifically to allow us to request donations, to provide donations of Steamship Authority gift cards, not more than $50, in addition to having the option for passenger tickets, and to also update the sponsorship marketing policy to reflect that we can directly sponsor a charitable event via direct payment from the advertising program in exchange for promotional exposure. That's a practice that we've been doing that's not strictly reflected in the policy, so I wanted to align those. I included red line copies for everybody. if there are any questions, but it's mostly just a language cleanup and then a couple of updates to the practices. Happy to
Okay.
take any questions.
No, thank you, Sean. Does anyone have any questions? And also Sean, Bob, or, whoever, do we need action on this as a recommendation?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'd like to have the Port Council, look at this, whether they want to recommend approval to the board or not.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
No,
All right.
Otherwise, I'll accept a positive motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Mark, you want to take this one?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote. John Cahill,
Cahill, aye.
Joe Solito,
Solito, aye.
Mark Reese,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Sean.
And I see Jay back on, Mr. Cahill, so I think we're good to go.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So the next item, the 41 North Offshore License Amendment. Bob?
Yeah. All right,
Mark.
so staff just wanted to provide a brief update. Back in the end of October, we received a request from 41 North Offshore. Part of that was to extend their license for the Nantucket route, but they also had included a request to provide, be able to provide some service on the Vineyard route as well. Since that service would be new, we've now placed advertisements in the New Bedford Standard Times, the Cape Cod Times, Falmouth Enterprise, Vineyard Gazette, and the Martha's Vineyard Times, although I'm told that one won't appear until this week. We also have it on our website, and we sent out included in one of the e-news. We included that notice. So the notice reads in part that the Steamship Authority seeks public comment regarding an amendment to the authority's license agreement with 41 North Offshore LLC, doing business as Island Freight Line, to operate a freight-only ferry service between New Bedford and Martha's Vineyard. Currently, 41 North is licensed to operate a freight service between New Bedford and Nantucket through December 31st, 2026. 41 North seeks to amend its current license to include freight-only service between New Bedford and Martha's Vineyard. Written comments for this are due by February 16th, and at that point, we'll determine whether there's a hearing required, correct, Terrence?
Correct.
So this is just to advise the Port Council and the board, and also the public, that there's a comment period right now for this proposed service, so.
Anyone have any questions? I have one, but John, go ahead.
I probably have a few, but I'll start off by asking, how are you going to accommodate 41 North at the Steamship Authority terminals, given our schedules?
Mr. Cahill, yesterday, Captain Hyannis and I sat down and had a discussion with Jonah. The 41 North, they will be working around our schedule when they're in and out of the slips. So we worked out a schedule for each different time period. So for the summer schedule, et cetera. So that's been worked out. We finalized that yesterday.
Do you know what that schedule looks like?
I do. I could send that over to you.
Could you state what it is publicly?
Sure, I'll bring it up.
Briefly?
Just give me a second to bring it up on my laptop.
Yeah. And I have a follow-up question to that. Is that, and with 41 North, is that a barge plus a tug?
Yes, that's how they've provided that service to Nantucket. It's a barge that they've retrofitted with a extension on it, so it matches our transfer bridge. And then they can they'll pull in, and the trucks drive off and then drive on.
Mm-hmm.
So it matches our transfer bridge.
So Mr. Cahill, in the morning window would be 05:35 to 06:05, In the afternoon window would be 17:25 to 17:55, so that it would not interfere with our operations.
And then a third question is that my understanding is from talking with some other providers is that Steamship Authority is already referring customers that do not fit the outlines of what can be carried on the Steamship Authority to Tisbury Towing. And they're already continuously doing business through Steamship Authority right now. And I just question what the need is from a safety standpoint, but also from a resources standpoint. Do we need to have another provider entering into the harbor?
Yeah, so those ones that are being referred to, Tisbury Towing are items that wouldn't fit over our transfer bridge because of the railings and the gallows. So that would be the same here with this service, is that we wouldn't be able to accommodate these. So these would be strictly, roll on, roll off vehicles that would, be normal, wouldn't be oversized.
And then just to follow up on that one, Bob, is that wouldn't that be more in the best interest to have that boat traffic be on the other side of the harbor as opposed to the inner harbor of Vineyard Haven by using Tisbury Towing? From a safety standpoint, from a recreational boating standpoint, and other things.
Yeah, no, we understand that the congested nature of the area in and about our terminal and the Five Corners and all that, and those would all be things that would be we need to address in the final report recommendation.
All right, and then Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'm not sure if our town administrator for Tisbury has any questions, but could we recognize him if he wants to raise his hand to ask any questions?
Could I ask a question though, Bob, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. I mean,
One of
I
my
don't
questions
see-
is like Hyannis, will we have to get permission from the town of Tisbury to go into the inner harbor?
It's a federal channel right up to our dock, I believe, so.
Okay. I didn't know, like Hyannis, they require that the boat can only be so long and it only be so deep.
Yeah, we don't have those, the channel into Vineyard Haven is significantly deeper than what we have in Hyannis to deal with.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. Is the other John Cahill going to be on? Yeah.
Mr. Grundy, I don't know what the process is, Chair.
Like, to tell the truth, you have to be old to remember that show.
Yeah. If he would like to participate now, he could raise his hand.
Because I want to say something, but I don't want anyone else to get missed
Okay.
here, so
Just a second.
apologize. Sean, you bringing him over?
I'm bringing him over.
Okay, thank you. There we go. Welcome, Jay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I did have a couple of questions. What I'm concerned about is right now there is a limit on the size of the tractor trailers coming into Vineyard Haven Harbor via the Steamship Authority because of the nature of Five Corners and the immediate roadways. The other concern is operationally twofold. One, our recreational mooring field, Owen Park Pier, beach are very close, as well as our marinas, which are recreational boating as well, very close to this location. And when I hear barge and tug, I do not know whether templates have been put on the waters to see whether or not there's adequate maneuvering area and how long that maneuvering may or may not, may take. Sounds like they have something retrofitted, but it can be difficult in close quarters with recreational boaters. Also, I would note that there should be turning templates utilized for the semi-tractor trailers to see even if they can negotiate those immediate roadways, because there is a limit in terms of the length of semi-tractor trailers presently. That's why these functions have traditionally been elsewhere in the harbor, so that that conflict would not occur. And it does beg the question that Tisbury is trying to promote, less vehicles in this area, pedestrian, bicycle, and it's heavily congested already. So it is a surprise to see this making it this far in the process, frankly. And I would just say that operationally, they should have submitted some type of water traffic impact assessment, as well as, land-based traffic impact assessment. And I don't see any of that as part of their application at this point. So significant concerns, and obviously I understand there's a process. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Does anyone else have anything before I kind of dabble into this a little bit? So this rings of a lot of different pieces, to go back to the past of, alternative ports and all the, I don't want to say hemming and hawing, but I'll say it quietly. Yes, since 1998, this has been going on. And each island has relationships and ways of doing things that work sort of organically. And Joan has done an unbelievable great job of transitioning the Nantucket barge system. I'll just call it that for now, because there really isn't a name, but it is a system that works. It's kind of old-fashioned and sort of happens with a schedule, but like last night, the barge came in at the same time as the Eagle. And if that had happened 5 years ago, it would have been a problem, but now they know what to do now. We have somebody that is, sort of like a licensed partner now that's doing this stuff. But on the Vineyard route, I have no clue what's going on over there, other than just what I know from over time. And I don't like to meddle into anything that's a Vineyard, but this throws up a couple of flags as far as why somebody would want to try to pull this off in our slips with a barge with a tug. Is not the same as pulling up to a dock. And also with the amount of trips that the Vineyard has, it seems pretty difficult to plug in a trip in between trips over there. It's very busy over there, the way that system works. So I'm sure that management has looked at all these factors, but at the same time, I'm not sure if we're trying to accommodate a need or a desire from the past or recent past to sort of say, okay, we've found someone or something like that. I don't know, but regardless of that, I just think we should proceed cautiously.
I can't, I'm on a meeting right now.
Thank you,
Tell him,
Bob and Mark
can I give
and
him a call?
everyone.
Get his number in about 20 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, just throwing my 2 cents, maybe 4.
So again, this is open for public comment, and clearly, if the town of Tisbury or anyone wants to comment, please provide us your concerns, and following that comment period, we'll review those and be figuring out next steps.
Go ahead, John.
Sorry to bring it back up, but I do have a question for Bob and others maybe at the Steamship Authority. My understanding is that Tisbury Towing is already providing the service and getting the referrals from the Steamship Authority reservation process. And so do they need to have a licensing agreement on top of that because they're already been providing that service?
So, this goes back, there was a period of time where Tisbury Towing was transporting vehicles. They did not have a license to do that. The vehicles that they are transporting are relative to their activities. If they're bringing over, for instance, modular homes, if they need equipment to be doing that, that's allowed. Regarding any additional service, Tisbury Towing, just like anyone else, would need to put in an application for a license to provide service. The elements that are referred to them are because they can't fit through our facility. They can't fit over the transfer bridge and under the gallows. So that's what's referred to for him. So he's doing he'd be doing Tisbury Towing would be doing the oversized vehicles. If there are any, so. But as for a regular service, they would need to, just like 41 North, submit an application for a license to do so.
Even if that service is provided to dock at their location, which is less of a concern in Tisbury.
That would be an element of the note that we'd have to go through the public notice procedure, and that would be something that is in the final recommendation on, whether that would be, a benefit or whatever to something like that. So.
All right. There'll probably be more questions to follow, but I'm okay for today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, John. So we're just going to continue this matter, Bob.
Yeah, this was just for
information.
Information, just to make sure we get it out there that there's this comment period is going and following the procedures that are in place for licensing.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So we'll move to the treasurer's report. Mark, the business summary for December.
Good morning, everyone. Sean will bring up the business summary for December 2023, and these are in draft form and they're unaudited. We're waiting on an actuarial report in accordance with GASB 75 still, which will have a minor impact on the end results of the financial statement. And since the business summary was released last Thursday, we've made a minor adjustment to our insurance expense of about $477,000 in our final reconciliation. But looking at the passenger carried for the month of December, we're up 6.4% for both routes combined. Year to date, we're up 18,000 passengers at 0.6%. The only category that was down for the year was the Bass Ferry passengers on the Nantucket route.
And
okay, for vehicles carried for the year, we're down 1.2%, or just over 6,900 passenger vehicles. Both islands were down on the standard fare autos. Freight vehicles, both routes combined for the year, we're up 2,402 vehicles. And these are one-way trips that we're referring to in all these traffic details. Cars parked for the year were up 1.1%, or 1,758 vehicles combined for both routes. Trip summary for the year for both routes combined, we had 154 trips canceled for mechanical, 313 for weather, 286 for traffic, and 277 for crewing issues. Comparing this to the previous year, the mechanicals were up 0.08% compared to the previous year, while the weather cancellations were down 0.6%. Financial snapshot, we'll concentrate on the year. So operating revenues of 137,100,000, we're lower than budget by about 496,000. Other income of 9.5 million was higher than budget by 2.3 million, primarily driven by interest income. Operating expenses of 127,500,000, that'll increase by roughly 400,000. That was lower than budget by 5.2 million, which will turn into about 4.8 million. Putting this all together, we had a net income of 17.7 million, which was higher than budget by 7.7 million, and both of those numbers will decrease by about $470,000 at this point. And we did receive capital grants of $6 million for the year. Operating revenues, you can see the automobiles were down 3.3 million or 7.3%. This is driven by the decrease in the quantity of standard vehicles in both routes combined. Looking at total operating revenue combined for everything, we're down 496,000 or 0.4%. For the operating expenses, we're down 5.1 million for everything combined. Actually, it's 4.7 once we factor in the insurance adjustment. But you can see maintenance expenses up 1.6 million, where the vessels were up and landside was down. And general expense was down 2.5 million this year. We had a pension adjustment in accordance with GASB 67, recognizing the deferred inflows and outflows of the pension, which was a reduction in the month of December by about $1 million on the non-union pension. Fuel expenses were down for the year, about $2.1 million. We budgeted $3.93 a gallon. We came in at $3.41. So those are the highlights on the expense side, and the variance from budget to actual on the income statement is really driven on the expense side, not on the revenue side. And this is just giving a snapshot for the first 3 weeks of January and the percentages. So we're down passengers, just under 600 passengers for both routes. And then vehicles on the Vineyard route, we're down 1,600 passengers. And on the Nantucket route, vehicles and up 109 vehicles. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mark, and the reason for the numbers on the INO is back to that same thing, that 730.
The crewing, the fifth trip that was missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then some of the fuel expense that we realized was actually gallons.
Because of that.
Well, yeah.
What's that, 500 gallons a round trip, 400, something like that, I think.
I'll get it to you. I don't know off the top of
No,
my head.
I don't need to know. I'm just saying, I think that's what it is, but I just wanted to make sure that we don't forget to keep mentioning that when you do these things, because it's just easy to forget, you know? So does anyone have any questions on the business summary before we move on to the
Yes,
next
Mr.
one?
Chairman.
Yep.
Just in terms of the 2023 year, it looks like it ended up on a very positive note with that operating income almost being double of what was budgeted at the time, 16 million versus 7 million. And I just would like to have comment from management as to whether they also think 2023 overall financially was a success, and whether we've rebounded sufficiently from the COVID problems financial problems that we're dealing with.
So to take the second part first, the COVID part, if you look at our passengers, the ridership's right, we're, the vehicles are right at about 2019 levels, same with the passengers, where the revenue came in pretty close to what budget was. So in that part, it was good. On the expense side, we had some of it was not cash expenses, paper expenses, where we had some depreciation that didn't get realized. We originally expected the forecast of the 2 vessels to be online in 2023, but that's been 2024. That was about $700,000 in depreciation. But overall, it was a good year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next item, the debt issuance and debt management policy.
Sure. So pursuant to regulations adopted in July 2010 by the Commonwealth, we're required to, every 2 years to reauthorize our debt policy. So on the even years, we do the debt policy. On the odd years, we do the investment policy. So the debt policy is the same policy as we issued in 2022, with the exception on section 5, we updated the amount of bonds outstanding and the debt limit. And in section 10, when the investment policy was last adopted. So our current bond limit is $150 million. We have 91.2 million outstanding. We'll be making a bond principal payment on March 1st of about $8.3 million. So we're looking for the Port Council to recommend the updated version of the debt policy. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Anybody got anything?
Do we have to vote on this, Mr. Chairman?
Is this, yeah, do you need action on this, Bob or Mark?
Yes,
Okay. So I'll accept the motion.
So
I'll make a
moved.
motion to recommend approval of the debt issuance and management policy.
I'll
Second.
second it. Second.
Okay, Joe. All in
Aye.
favor? John
Salito,
Cahill?
aye.
Okay, Joe Salito, aye. Mark Reese?
Mark Reese, aye.
And chair votes aye. Thank you.
Cahill, aye. By the
I
way,
said, yeah, well, Joe said it for you, I think. All right.
he did.
Just
For the record, to help Sean.
for the
out.
record. 220, the 2023 embarkation fees, Mark?
Yeah, and
That's
this is-
yours, right?
Yep, this is just for informational purposes. Embarkation fees in 2023 were $1,031,000, which was down about 18,000 compared to the previous year, or 1.7%. Overall passenger ridership, as we saw earlier, is up 0.6%. But the driver for why the embarkation fees were down was the amount of exempt passengers increasing on both routes, 6.3% on the Vineyard route and 6.9% on the Nantucket route. And we could see some of that evidence in the excursion vehicles on both routes being up. So in all, it was pretty close to what the embarkation fees were for last year. And to go back to Mr. Reese's question about pre-COVID, we're within $30,000 of embarkation fees, or $35,000 in embarkation fees compared to 2019. So I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has on that.
Nope.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Before we go to no comment, okay, so old and new business, anyone have anything they want to bring up or talk about? Joe?
Mr. Chairman, not to bring up old business again, but what about the our building in Woods Hole? How's that coming?
okay, so filed sub bids for, let me just call up the calendar here, hold on 1 second. Okay, so filed sub bids for that project are due on Tuesday, the 20th. And then the general contractors bids are due on Tuesday, March 5th. And we anticipate having those reviewed and be brought to the board at their March 19th meeting.
The reason for asking is just looking at some old pictures and the old ticket booth that used to be there when the trains were coming in. It's too bad that that type of design wasn't done for Woods Hole. It would have been really nice to have a replica of the old ticket building there, because you really don't need a lot of space with everything that's coming on now. Most people are getting their reservations online. You're going to have kiosks to get tickets, passenger tickets, so you're not going to really need a lot of space for people selling tickets at the at that building.
Yeah, so as when we presented, we'll be presenting the history of all the design changes that we've gone through and, you know, the approvals and that have been made, the discussion as to the placement of the building and how, you know, the Falmouth member at the time and the Vineyard member at the time had both expressed some concerns regarding that. You know, the terminal layout that we have now, we feel, you know, when we look at it, it's, you know, when we use other, you know, for instance, Washington State ferries, the amount of trips that and passengers that go through that terminal is undersized, significantly undersized, but we feel that we can make it work with the way it you know, what we have it set up at. So
What's the, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
And the board had awarded the demolition contract late last year to take down the freight shed, which will be, they're in the process of removal of hazardous materials in that building, and they'll be coming down shortly.
What's the cost just for the ticket booth, ticket office?
I want to say, I don't have the cost the most recent cost estimate in front of me, but it's somewhere around, say $35 million for the terminal building and the utility building. It's a combined project.
Okay, I didn't know what the terminal, I was just interested in terminal building.
Yeah, no, it's a combined, and the issue that we have with that is that because it's in a flood zone, you know, it has to be raised. The foundation for it ends up being a 6-foot thick slab of concrete because of the hydrodynamic nature of the ground that it's going to be sitting on. We have to build it to be flood proof, which means that certain items on the design in terms of making sure that water is kept outside the building, deployable flood barriers for doors and the like are included in that. So and then the utility building in terms of being able to store equipment and the stores for the vessels and the terminals and things like that. So this was something that off the top of my head, I'm going to say that we probably went through 20 different iterations of this building, working with the community as much as we can, but we also have, we need a building that's functional for our services as well. So, we did lose minimum of a year, if not two, by going through that process. So.
I'm aware of that. I remember that. It just seems like it's a lot of money to spend for ticket building. That's all. As the governor from the Vineyard said, we're in the business of boats, not buildings. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but the temporary terminal building that we have, we actually had to get an extension on the occupancy permit of that. And if we don't, we need to do something, because otherwise that permit will be will expire, and we won't have a place at all for our customers. So
thank you, Bob.
So
go ahead, John.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I want to support what Joe just had to say and request for our next Port Council meeting that we have Mark Rosen review our capital expenditure plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Spending $40 million, $35 million, whatever it is, on a new building just sounds outrageous. We're spending a lot of money. We have a lot of overrides. We know we have investments in technology. And I support what Joe's saying. I mean, the world has changed in the last 5 years that we initially looked at this. It's a whole new world, whole new management team. And this building is looked at unfavorably, not only from the residents of Martha's Vineyard, but also the residents of Falmouth for a lot of reasons. So before we can make any educated decision as the financial partners with the governors, I think we need to look at the capital expenditure plan. So if we can get that on the agenda for next meeting, that would be it.
Yeah, we can. I don't think there'd be an update from what was presented at last month's meeting that was approved by the Port Council and Board in terms of the capital budget for 2024 as well. So it had the 10-year projection of projects. So
I would just like to look at it in the light of spending another 35 million. That's all.
Yeah, I think I can clean up what John's saying a little bit, Bob. Like if you, when this all started, let's say we were talking about the Woods Hole. I'm talking about the motor vessel Woods Hole. And it was, 46 million, and all of a sudden we're 3/4 of the way through the project and it's 90. Like it just poof happened by itself. I'm not questioning whether we need to build the building. I've asked you 1,000 times about this, and I understand that temporary building, even though it seems permanent, it's temporary, and the permitting and the FEMA stuff. And that's what I was going to ask is all this raising things 6 feet stuff and building submarines for buildings and all this for this alleged sea level that's going to magically happen whenever that's going to happen. How much is that adding? I mean, that's what I'd like to know to this. I mean, is it 10 million more, 15, 20? I mean, what is it? Like, because that we're trying to accommodate, you should see the houses they're building on Hulbert Ave and Eastern Street in Nantucket now, 10 feet off the ground. It can't be used in the winter if it's cold. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? How much are we accommodating this alleged 5 feet of sea? I mean, how's the whole place going to function if this even happens? That's what is so bizarre about dealing with this. But there's nothing we can do. We can't get a variance. We have to do what what's required in this spot. So that's unfortunate. We look bad, but we're actually doing what is required. So just want to throw that in.
well, and this is a 50-year building. Is what it's and the fact that it is in a flood zone does add significantly to the cost of this building. Not only the foundation, but all the exterior of the building to make it at a loss for dry flood proof. I guess is the terminology. You can do it dry flood proof or wet flood proof. Wet flood proof means that it's designed so that way water
goes underneath it.
Out, and then you have to deal with the aftermath, and as opposed to dry flood proofing it. This building is also going to be a zero net energy facility when we're all done with the geothermal and the solar and the other elements of it. Would we rather be spending money on boats? Yes, but we can't run boats if we don't have facilities to run them into. The slips were the primary issue that we had in Woods Hole, but in order to do that for the slips, we had to move the terminal building, and now we're at the stage where we need to be moving forward on the terminal building as well. So again, we'd rather be spending the money elsewhere, but it's needed. We just spent $1.2 million on an HVAC system in Vineyard Haven, for instance. I forget how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it was to reside that building. We have to continually be doing maintenance on buildings, and in this case, the Woods Hole facility had gone far too long before this maintenance had been performed. But these will all be elements that we'll be incorporating into once we get bids on the building.
Can I just, Bob, I don't mean to question anything at all that you said, because I think everything you said is fine, but I can't help but say something about when we say 50-year building. We talk about preserving things all day long over here. I'm sure the Vineyard has its historic, system that they have over there, but like this building ain't going anywhere. If we build this building the way it sounds, this building is going to be there until the world blows up, okay, or melts, or catches on fire, or floods, or whatever the next crisis is coming. That when we're gone, that building is going to be there. I can tell you that. So I look at things when we have municipal thinking conversations about stuff, if we could just try not to make it like it has this sort of date that just makes it go away. Like this year, that Nantucket's 50, runs like a top, but this concrete's not going to wear out and have to be replaced. I mean, this is going to be great if we can do it. But I mean, this is once we embarked on the third slip and tearing down the building that was there in the wrong spot. This was inevitable. I saw this coming in 2015 when I first heard about it, that this was going to be the most expensive third slip in history of man. And that's exactly what it is. But it has to happen. You guys down there are like Grand Central Station. We're not like that over here. It's a completely different operation. So hopefully there's grant money and, whatever for all the, tying this all into resiliency and green, zero net zero and all that stuff. So we can get some of this money floating around. So, because we're accommodating all that, and that's what everybody seems to want, but it isn't free like it's proposed sometimes. Thank you. So anyone else have anything?
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, you did touch on one thing that I want to also mention is that, this is something that, we're taking into account, the climate change and resiliency issues that we have there. This is going to continue at all of our facilities. We have, the flooding issues over at the Nantucket terminal, which we'll be looking at this for a feasibility study on that. We're looking for, as you pointed out, that we are looking for grant opportunities to fund those studies. Just like on the Vineyard, the Martha's Vineyard Commission is applying for a grant, a NOAA grant, which we submitted a support letter to be looking at the climate change, climate resiliency in and around the harbor there, which is something that we will need to be doing as well at the Vineyard Haven terminal. But we also are a water-dependent transportation agency, so we have to take into account that it does no good if people can't get to our facility. It does no good if we can't get people on and off our vessels. So those are all elements of what we need to be accomplishing.
Yeah, and that's it right there, Bob. I mean, this is happening. I was at a house the other day out that is probably never had a drop of water from the ocean anywhere near it. And you would think that we were in the Mississippi River. And it's, we got to put this place up in the air. We got to do this, we got to do that. And it's like, and then you find out that the Galley Restaurant and Codfish Park on Nantucket aren't in the flood zone, but yet they're right at the water. So nothing surprises me, but I just hope we can get through this Woods Hole thing so that we can move along in what, other more pressing plans for the future. So anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Joe, you got anything to add?
Nope.
All right, public comment. Sean?
Yeah.
I can't see anybody except the six of you. Oh, there we go. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks, Chair. I just had a question about the 41 North application. Do they give a sense of how big the barge and tugboat will be?
Probably the one we're using.
Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head. I know that the barge itself can have 3 across, 2 front to front.
I'll follow up.
Jonah's still here? Jonah is not here anymore.
Bob, I'll follow up with Sam and I'll get that to him.
Thanks.
That's all I see, Nat.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Having your patience with me, Sean. Thank you for helping me out. And Terry. So I'll
See, I've
accept the
discovered
motion.
you're a good chair, so I think, you ought to continue.
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
years.
well, I don't
Done
mind
very
doing it.
well, Matt.
Yeah, you got us out by 10-11.
Nice job.
How many times did Allison laugh though? How many times? 2, 3?
I'll make a
Need a
motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? John Cahill,
Cahill, aye, thank you.
Joe Salito? Joe? He said aye. There we go. And Mark Reese,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
take
Bye-bye,
care.
everybody.